and the car is a 2007. I was talking to Mario the other day, and we decided it's been way too long since we made the questionable financial and automotive decision. So we decided we're gonna set a budget of 2,000 euros and we're gonna buy a car, fix it up, try and make some profit. We wanted something a bit more exotic, a bit more rare, and something that's gonna be interesting to work on and drive and have some quirky features. So we went on this new auction website here in Bulgaria, which is I think the first car auction site here, and we found this car. And just to give you an example, because obviously we already bought it, but just to give you an idea of how exotic it is, there were only 23,000 ever made. It has some really quirky features like an active rear spoiler, a head-up display. This is from 2007, so that's a big deal. It has hydraulic height adjustable suspension and a twin-turbo V6 engine with just over 200 horsepower. And I promise none of those features will make you want to buy or own one of these cars. Can you guess what it is? It is a 2007 Citroen C6. Let me give you a tour. First of all, the exterior. The paint has some scratches here and there. I think this one will buff out. Those are not the original wheels. The owner had taken them to use on his C5, so he gave us these ones. On this panel, everything looks in order, apart from a few more scratches and this big giant rust spot, which is, I think, the only rust spot for the car, which is both good and bad. Also, paint chip here. Going back to the rear, we have the active rear wing, which is a really interesting feature, and I love it. It's also one of the ugliest rear ends I have ever seen, probably, especially with the concave rear window. We have a chip here on the tail light. Right hand side, some peeling lacquer. Some more here. I'm guessing the rear bumper has been replaced. Another scuff mark here. This one might not buff out actually. Going to the front, another scuff mark and some paint peel on the front, which I think has also been repainted. I'm not sure which looks worse, the front end or the rear. I mean, look at that. Ugh. In terms of engine, we have a 2.7 liter twin turbo V6 diesel, which under this plastic cover looks absolutely fucking terrifying. But it works rather well, to my surprise. This is the reason actually why we got it so cheap, because the guy thought there's a problem with the timing belt, but so far I don't think there is one. I think it was just low on hydraulic fluid, and the hydraulic pump was sounding a bit weird because I topped it off and now it sounds much better. Loving the frameless windows, by the way. The most interesting thing about this engine is the fact that it has done 526,000 kilometers, which is to the moon and almost back, I think. It still runs and drives properly, as much as a French diesel engine can be proper in anything. Once you get in, the first thing you will notice is this massive steering wheel, which is actually rather nice to the touch. Also, there's buttons everywhere. We'll get to those later, and some empty oil bottles from the hydraulic fluid I just filled. One of the cooler features is the head-up display. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can. It is there, I promise, and it's working. You also have a ton of buttons here, including the ESP, the parking sensors. You have lane assist. In 2007, that's a big deal. And you have this big display here for sat nav and vehicle information and other stuff you can play with. We have an automatic gearbox, which is actually rather smooth, surprisingly smooth so far. We also have the height adjustment on the hydraulic suspension. This is the last generation of hydro-pneumatic suspension from Citroen. This knob is a little bit sunken in, but it still works. You can still press it and it does things. We have the knob for the adjustable steering column as well, although it's been removed. Yeah, quirky features. We have full leather interior, including the rear seats, which are also electric and heated. And these really weird side pockets. All in all, the car is very quirky, and some interesting engineering decisions have been made. Like, for example, the button for the heated seats is way down here, which means you have to find it by feel and you have to guess what level they are at, and I think that's really obnoxious. The seats are fully electric and have memory and lumbar support, active lumbar support, electric, which is cool. We also have cruise control and limit. We have an automatic rear view mirror, and the best feature we have is the active rear wing, which you can deploy by pressing the indicator stroke, and that also puts your wipers in service position. On this particular example, the interior is in very good shape, except for the driver's seat, but that's expected after 526,000 kilometers. The rear is looking splendid. You have decent leg room. I'm a rather average height person. You have rear climate controls. You can only adjust the fan speed and the direction. You can't adjust the temperature. And you also have two cigarette lighters in the back and one in the front. There's an ashtray on each corner of this car, which I find really interesting. Again, this weird storage pocket. And the rear seats are electrically adjusted as well, although I need to turn on the ignition. It is a rather spacious and luxurious car. The headroom in the back is a bit odd. First of all, the slopey shape of the car kind of makes it a bit cramped, and in this one the headliner is hanging. We have this shade here, which is manual, but it's still pretty cool, and some interior lights. And that's for the back. The boot is currently filled with stuff. This is a bunch of parts that the old owner gave us. I noticed that the floor is missing and we had to replace the battery. Haven't put that back together. It's also not as spacious as you'd expect for a car of this size. I don't know why. Considering this was supposed to compete with the BMW 5 Series and the E-Class, I find it a bit odd. Let's take it for a drive. First impressions, this definitely feels, you know, they say like a land yacht. It feels heavy, it feels lumpy. It is very smooth though. Some people say this is the best, one of the best suspensions and the best ride quality cars in the world. That's not the exact phrasing I would use, but it feels good. It feels soft and cushy and smooth. It is a bit wobbly, kinda, but in a bearable way. Considering I'm mostly used to the firmness of my BMW 3 Series, this feels much softer and much comfier. Definitely very light on my back. The engine, it has 204 horsepower of diesel fury, which is plenty, but not for this lump of lard, because I think it's like 1700 kilograms or something like that, and you can feel that. You can definitely feel how heavy it is. It doesn't pull that, well, so from here on, what the plans are for this car, as I said, it's mine and Mario's. We're doing this together. He's gonna help with fixing it and getting it sorted. Initially our thought was that maybe we're a bit in over our heads because it seemed much more broken than I think it is. Don't speak too soon. Right now it feels manageable. I wasn't expecting it to be that easy to get it back on the road, but we basically just put in a fresh battery, some diesel and some hydraulic fluid, and it drives, it runs. We did get it really cheap, which leaves us with some budget to fix it. Our budget is 2,000 euros for the entire project. So far we got the car for 900, and sorting out the paperwork, getting the insurance and everything else ready for it to be ours basically has cost us around 300-400 euros, something like that. And that leaves us with 700-800-ish euros left for fixing and tuning up and whatnot. So we will see what we can do with that budget. We're not going for perfect, we're going for decent, roadworthy, safe, and then we'll drive it around a little bit, enjoy the quirkiness. I'm feeling rather happy about getting the opportunity to own a hydraulic Citroen, even for a little while. I think it's a piece of car history that you need to experience. Everybody who's interested in cars should get to experience it at least once in their life. And I think it's special in its own way. And then we will probably end up selling it, hopefully for a profit. But considering how cheap we got it, I think that's not going to be very hard. In the next few episodes, we're going to be fixing it up. I hope we can tackle most of the jobs ourselves. I think there will be some that we need to outsource and get outside help for. You'll have to wait and see. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.